All right, what's going on, my friends? Fifth quarter. I'm still trying to absorb what we saw tonight down at Chase Center in San Francisco as the Warriors close out the game on a 16-2 run and get the victory 118-112. An opportunity that absolutely slipped through the fingers of the Portland Trailblazers tonight. Jordan Poole with a game-high 41 points. He was sensational, but frustrating because the Blazers – really, it was self-inflicted wounds tonight that cost them. Mistakes down the stretch, poor defense down the stretch. I really didn't like the game that Chauncey Billups had tonight. And if you look at really the last 3 weeks, the late-game execution from the Trailblazers, it hasn't been there. And I think we saw that tonight with Chauncey Billups, who didn't really appear to have a plan, have any set plays that were drawn up to put guys in a position to have success when they needed it most, especially when the Warriors started to go on that run. We saw the Blazers take a 5-second violation. We saw the mistakes that came from chaos more than having a plan. We saw poor defensive decisions. And then for some reason, he had Eubanks on Draymond when he was playing the 5, but when they put Kevon Looney back in the game, they took Eubanks out. So, players have bad nights, coaches have bad nights, but this was particularly bad for Chauncey. I thought he struggled in those 2 games at Oklahoma City as well. So, we're seeing some issues here with the Portland Trailblazers, but a rough night as the Warriors get the win by a final score of 118-112. And, Burkhart and I were talking throughout the course of the game, and then as we got into the second half and the Blazers really started to play well in the third quarter, it's like, okay, we like what they're doing right now, but I asked Chris, can they withstand the run that is coming from the Warriors? We knew it was coming. I just didn't know it was going to come at the very end of the game on a 16-2 burst. Game over. Brutal, because they can come at you in waves. And when they get hot like that, you make a couple of mistakes, they make you pay, and they can take an 8-point deficit and turn it into a 6-point game and no problem. It's amazing.
That was a run that championship teams make, Chad. Doing it right at the end of the game where there is no time to bounce back at all.
No.
And you knew it was coming. It wasn't a matter of if. It was when. It was when. And it happened right at the perfect time for Golden State.
My goodness. What a rough game. The Blazers, and that's really the way the Warriors play it, right? They're going to get into a number of different situations where they're going to play in spurts. They get careless with the basketball. They'll turn it over. They'll allow you to get back into a game. But once they recover and recoup and refocus, they really crank up the intensity. And once again, we saw that tonight. A lot of runs by both sides tonight. A wild basketball game. But I thought what was really bizarre were, how the Trailblazers tonight, they came out in that third quarter after struggling and getting hammered there in the first quarter. They really came out and kind of set the tone and got back in control. And they put themselves in a position where you're like, okay, they've got a chance to win this game. And then all of a sudden we saw the struggles coming in that fourth quarter, and it's like, what's going on here? They put up 40 in the third and put up only 16 points in the final quarter. And the execution, the shots that they were able to take, they just didn't get it done. So a frustrating game. The telephone number here on the fifth quarter, 503-248-0620. 503-248-0620 is your telephone number. You can reach out and hit me up on Twitter, at Chad and Rip City. Of course, Chris and I are on YouTube, streaming live. If you want to join the live stream and jump on the chat, you can do so. And you'll find us on YouTube. Just go to youtube.com and pull up our homepage, Rip City Radio. You will see the live link right there. You can click and be able to take part and see what's going on behind the scenes and join in on the chat if you want to do it that way. 503-248-0620 is your telephone number, 503-248-0620. But the Warriors, again, really bizarre. Horrible on the road this year, just 3-16. Now with the win tonight, 16-2 at home. And the Blazers, really what's troubling right now is we're seeing poor starts to games and then poor execution down the stretch. Tonight, they got down big early, but they were able to close, the gap in the second quarter. But they're down 41-25 by 16 points in the first quarter. It's like, well, what are you guys doing? Where was the team? Where was the energy? Where was the focus? They got it back, and trimmed the deficit going into halftime. And they took control of the game going into the fourth with a big third quarter. But they couldn't maintain that. And as the Warriors continued to pour on the pressure, the Blazers made more and more mistakes. I thought it was a rough finish for Dame. Heck, we saw him get his pocket picked by Dante DiVincenzo. Josh Hart made a couple of mistakes. Ant was poor, made a couple of mistakes down the stretch. They just didn't get the things that they needed to make it happen. And with the loss, Portland now 18-17 on the year, 35 games in, and they'll come back home now to face the Detroit Pistons at Moda Center on Monday. Let's go out to Troy in Gladstone. Troy, I appreciate the phone call. You're up on fifth quarter. What was your take tonight?
Oh man, this competitive games, which definitely like to watch, but this is just brutal watching these down to the wire games, and we're losing to horrible teams and not so good teams. And obviously we had this game in hand, and I swear to God, I just see the black hole. I love Anthony Simons, but I don't love Anthony Simons on this team. As soon as it gets in his hands, it never moves out of his hands. Dame tries to feed everybody, and as soon as it's iso ball, and we're never going to win iso ball. So I'm just getting frustrated with that. I think we need some more size. Everybody posts him up. He's not going to do it for us. I know he's supposed to be the future for us, but I don't see it. So that's my take.
All right, appreciate the phone call. There's Troy in Gladstone. Let's go out to Ken in Vancouver. Kenny, what's up, man? Welcome to fifth quarter.
That was a very tough game tonight, Chad. I wanted that game. You know how you sometimes want a game more than any? I wanted that game more than any game that we've had this year.
Why so? Why that game?
I think it's because you're going against the champion. I know they're without two of their guys, obviously, their best player in Curry and then one of their best in Wiggins. But it really shows without Nurk how important he is, because the Blazers had no pick setters tonight. They had no pick setters, so we did not get easy shots tonight. And it seemed like when we did get an open shot, it was bricked. And I think I want to, just because it's them. It's the Warriors. It's their fans. It's that. I can't stand the Bay Area, man. I know you love it. You live there, but I remember being there, and there was down underneath the bridge, there was two mob groups on each side of the corner. I was out processing from the Air Force in 1988, and we were going through San Francisco from the airport, and I got a little lost down there under the bridge, and there was two mob groups throwing like beer cans and stuff at each other, and I was like, man, I don't like this place, and I just don't like the smugness, the elitist of San Francisco. I just don't like the Warriors. I'm sorry.
No, I understand that. I wouldn't say that I love the Bay Area. I love the weather and the climate. I'm not a big fan of the traffic, the excessive amounts of people, the tax structure in the state of California. There are a lot of things to not like about the Bay Area, but the climate was phenomenal.
Yeah, I get that. And, the first time I ever visited San Francisco, I had a wonderful time. So it just shows you, one time you have a wonderful time, the other time you don't. It's just I don't like the Warriors. I don't like the smugness. Hey, they're great. They're a dynasty team. Congratulations and stuff. Maybe it's just the smirk on their faces. But, they've earned the possibility to have. But tonight, I just wanted it. When we went ahead by, 9 points in the third quarter, it was looking great. And then I was like, come on, bench, hang in there, and Ant came back in. That was such a great sign. And it was just, man, I think where I don't see the problems in the starting lineup. 42 minutes is just too many minutes. I mean, their main guys played 35, 36 minutes. That extra 6 minutes, your legs are dead. No shots were going. You talk about defense's effort. They had great effort up until the third quarter, but they were gassed. There was nothing left. I mean, you could just see it. We need some firepower off the bench. I mean, that's the thing. We have got to get somebody who can just, when he comes in, he can pop 3, 4, 5 straight shots And there's just no breathing room for the other team. And to me, this is on the bench, which there was none tonight, and that's the thing.
Well, I wouldn't put it on the bench. I thought Dame, Hart, and Ant were brutal down the stretch with their decision-making and their turnovers, and those are the guys that handle the basketball most of the time. But those guys in combination with Billups were brutal tonight down the stretch.
Do you think exhaustion was part of that, though?
Well, of
Being
course
that
it's part of
those
it. I mean,
last
3 Blazers played 40 or more minutes tonight. That was Hart, it was Jeremy Grant, it was Dame. No Warrior played over 36 minutes tonight. You had 34 from DiVincenzo, 32 from Draymond, 25 from Looney, 36 from both Clay and Jordan Poole.
Okay, so you don't. So they were where the bad play came was the last 5 minutes of the game. The last 5 minutes of the game was a cluster. I totally agree with you. It was not good. But I just say exhaustion, though. I saw John, and people say, well, they got 3 days off. They still practiced hard. It's not like they didn't, it's not like they were eating bonbons sitting in front of the TV for 3 days. I mean, it's, they were still practicing, trying to get better. And I saw some things. It looked, it was a little rough it was not rough at the start, and they were hot. But man, the defense was great in the second quarter. It was great in the third quarter. But I just think they ran out of gas tonight, and it was just there. It was so there to have. And I want to say this. The refs were bad for both teams, but that little wormy ref, number 69, I don't know his name. He has a little buzzsaw cut. That guy makes Scott Foster look like Jesus. That guy is not a good dude, man. That is the worst ref in basketball. Thanks, Chad.
Well, I'm not going to put him ahead of Scott Foster. I'm sorry, I can't do that. Let's go back out to the phones, 503-248-0620. And exhaustion, it always plays a part, but that's not an excuse for the decision-making down the stretch, the mistakes that were made. I mean, it's not like Dame hasn't played 40-plus minutes before in his career. He's used to that. Let's go out to Mike in North Portland. Mike, appreciate the phone call. You're up on fifth quarter. Fire away.
Chad, I mean, we got exposed tonight, I think, a little bit. Say what you will about who dressed and who played, both teams, and we're just so laughably outgunned at some positions some nights that it's just like, what are we trying to accomplish here? Are we trying to build for 3 or 4 years from now? Because if we are, let's let Dame get a shot somewhere else in core. Or is it Dame's the greatest trailblazer of all time and we're trying to give him a shot to win? Then let's trade some of these young pieces and build around him. Trying to do both has never worked for us. The Roy era, I mean, think about it, Chad. The Aldridge era after that, we tried to straddle in and out of one generation to the next, and it just has not worked. Josh Hart as a 3 is like bottom-tier defender probably. He's overplayed at the 3 this year and has looked good, but, I mean, if you're talking these teams that actually contend for titles, he's probably in the bottom third of the league in defense against other legit 3s. We need to go get a 3. You're going to have to sacrifice Sharp. You're going to have to sacrifice Ant and probably Keon and maybe even Nasir Little. Chad, that's my thought. We got to build around Dame.
Well, that's going to be the difficult question. In fact, I was talking with a buddy today. We were going over this, and it's like, okay, if the Blazers, let's say that they approach the deadline coming up in February, the trade deadline, and he's right about one thing. The Blazers right now are in a very difficult spot where they're trying to build for the future and yet at the same time improve the roster to help Dame make a legitimate run for a championship. So here's my question for you. If the Blazers make the playoffs this year, they're going to miss out on the draft. They're going to forfeit their first-round pick. That is true. That much we do know. If they make the playoffs, they will not have a first-round draft pick. So let's say that February comes and they're sitting there at the deadline, a few games out of first place. And as we've already established, it looks like the Western Conference is going to be a little more wide open than what we've seen in recent years, meaning there's not that one dominant force like the Warriors or somebody else that you look at and say, no matter what the Blazers do in a playoff series against that team, they have no chance. It doesn't appear like that team exists. So what do you do at the deadline? Do you look to improve in the margins by moving some of your spare parts to try and bring in somebody that can maybe help off the bench? Because the caller is right. They need to have a starting level wing. They need a wing who is a legit starter to play next to Grant to take this team to the next level. But here's the problem. In order to score that player, more than likely, it's going to require you to give up a key piece right now that's on the roster. And that key piece is not Shaden Sharp, because Shaden Sharp's on a rookie deal. He's not making any money. It'd have to be Anthony Simons. And if you sacrifice Ant to go out and get the wing player that you need to put yourself in a position to hopefully make a run, then you better be able to make a legitimate run. Because if you sacrifice Ant and you don't win a championship, then you damage your chances with Dame to make a run if you don't get over the hump, but also you hurt your future as well. Or if the team, let's say they go on a bit of a slide going into February, do you then reevaluate and say, no, we're not going to make a push for the playoffs. We want to get into this draft because it's rich in talent. See, that's the problem. In order to really get the player you need, you'd have to sacrifice someone like Ant. Most people are always afraid to move one of your young pieces. So I guess what is the question mark? I mean, what is the ultimate goal of this team? Are you trying to make a true legitimate run at a title with Dame? Or are you continuing to build for the future and you'll try to put the best teams on the floor you can with Dame, but understanding that you're probably not going to be able to win a championship? What is the ultimate goal? Because in order to bring in the player that you need to make a legit run, you're going to have to sacrifice one of the key pieces on the team right now, which would most likely be Ant, right? Because you're not going to trade Dame. They're not going to do that. After Dame, who is the most likely player to net you the most in return? Is that Anthony? Probably. It probably is. But it's always difficult to part with young talent that has potential superstar abilities. But that's really the situation they're in. 503-248-0620 is your telephone number, 503-248-0620. I mean, ultimately, what do you think, like the goal of this franchise, like Joe Cronin, the things that he really thinks that he wouldn't share publicly, like, do you think what they're ultimately going to do is keep the young core together and not sacrifice any of the key pieces so that you have a future, and yet at the same time they'll try to put the best team possible on the floor with Dame? But
I hate that, though, because the thing is, Chad, you have to pick a route. You can't say, okay, we're going to try to build around Dame and not sacrifice our future. You're either building now or you're building for the future. If you build for both, you can put together a good team, but you sacrifice the best result.
I agree. What do you think they really want to do? Do they really want to build for the future, or do they really want to make a run with Dame?
Man, I think they want to build around Dame, honestly. I just think
you really believe that?
If not, then I wouldn't have. I don't think they would have went and got Jeremy Grant, trading CJ to get some pieces in. We'll see. I think it's just tough because a part of me says they don't want to. They aren't leaning either way, which is annoying.
I know. Okay, so let me ask you this then. Let's assume that their plan is to try and really put Dame in a position to make a legit run. Then here's my question for you. When do you do it, Chris? When do you make the decision to part with someone that's in your crew, that's a part of the key core right now? When do you do it? Is it now or is it next year? Like what? Because you know who it's going to be. In order to really bring in the player they need, they're probably going to have to sacrifice Ant.
Yes, I agree with that. He's
in
your
order to
tradable
get
asset.
what you need, you'll probably have to part with Ant because nobody else on the roster that you would be willing to move would be able to net you something of legit.
Yep. Absolutely.
A legit player in return. You know what I'm saying?
No, exactly. He's the one that's going to give you your most value when you just look at production, age, money. He's going to be easy to match. He's going to get value in.
So when do you roll the dice on that? Now?
No, I would not right now. I think right now, this loss hurts, so I think people hit that panic button.
Yeah.
There's a lot that goes into it, but I mean, like people right now, even in the chat,
Does it have to be done this year?
This year?
or can you hold off until next season?
I'm going to be completely honest, and even going into this season, I was thinking this offseason is the one you're looking at. This is the make or break offseason.
After this year?
Yes, at the end of the year is where I was looking at prior to this season anyway.
I'm in no hurry for them to go out. They don't have to do anything right now.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering if their plan is truly to try and put themselves in a position to make a legit run with Dame, do you do it now? Or can you wait and be patient until the offseason? Or can you wait until the trade deadline next season before you roll the dice and say, okay, we're going to go for it here? Because the only way I'm trading Ant is if you really believe the move you're about to make, we believe this player gives us a legit chance to go out and compete in the Western Conference and win a championship. That's the only time I'm going to do it. If you're not sure, or if it's iffy, then you don't do it.
That's the only way. That's the only way you do it. And then the other option is do you part with Dame to get as much assets as you can and say, okay, Ant, it's yours. But again,
they won't do that.
They won't. But so if they're not going to do that, then they have to understand that you quit holding on to your assets and trying to build for both at the same time. It's like they're putting together a contingency plan should the main plan not work. And you have to swing for the fence, man. If you strike out, you strike out. But the plates are loaded. You're down by 3. You want that grand slam.
Let's go out to Tony in Vancouver. Tony, appreciate the phone call. You're up on the fifth quarter. Fire away.
It's been a while, Chad. I'm not buying this tired nonsense. They've been off 20 days. And the NBA is doing their best to eliminate back-to-backs. It had nothing to do with tired. This was just poor execution down the stretch. As deep, and I ain't blaming no ref 99 or this guy's tired or that guy's tired. That's just poor effort. That's what it was. Plain and simple. I'm sorry. The Blazers got good players, but tonight was not the night. They didn't perform tonight.
No, they didn't finish down the stretch. Chauncey Billups didn't make good decisions down the stretch, and it cost them. Pretty simple.
I ain't gonna buy all these excuses. But just poor play. Thank you, boss.
You got it, boss. Appreciate it. Happy New Year, Tony. Yeah, that's Kenny in Vancouver. He is a big-time defender of Dame and the Trailblazers, so he's not going to throw guys under the bus. But fatigue had nothing to do with the decision-making and the poor execution down the stretch.
No.
Not even close. Not even close. And it was rough. Josh Hart, mistakes. Dame, mistakes. Watching him get his pocket picked by DiVincenzo was like, ow.
Yeah. And Dame doesn't do that. Maybe
not too often.
No, not at all.
And it could have been, although I thought Chauncey had a bad night, I was texting with the Godfather, and he thought Dame did a poor job of making an effort to get to a position to where he could catch the inbound pass from Hart, and then, boom, they get hit with the 5-second violation.
It's also a weird situation. At that one, you don't have any timeouts. Just throw the ball in.
Yeah.
What's the worst that happens? Oh, the other team gets it? Well, guess what? They're getting it anyway. Just throw it in.
All right, let's go out to Tim in Milwaukee. Tim, welcome to the fifth quarter. My man, fire away.
Hey, you guys, I've got this all under control. I'm putting everybody out of their misery tonight with a grand announcement. I have put together a Kickstarter campaign, and I've been networking with local business leaders, and I have amassed quite a good amount of money as I feel comfortable entering the market to purchase the Portland Trailblazers. And
nice.
We're taking the team to Seattle. We've decided on a name, Chad. It is going to be the King County Fentanyl. We are going to need a media partner to open and close every game, so I wanted to approach you tonight to see if you would be our radio presence. The position, Chad, starts at $17 an hour, but you're a smart guy. You're going to move up fast.
Yes.
Also, right there, we've partnered with the first all-female sports bar in Seattle, Rough and Tumble, and as sponsors, they're going to also give you free hummus and White Claw for one entire season. So $17 an hour,
I'm in.
all the White Claw and hummus.
I'm in. I'm in 100%.
So, yeah. And they're paying me to say this, that if you're a divorcee or a widow with a white wine and pill addiction, then we'll see you at the KC Fentanyl broadcast at Rough and Tumble. And, Chad, we do need an answer at the wing still. So
yes.
through my federal government contacts, I thought that it would be a great media move on the Portland Trailblazers' part, also known as the King County Fentanyl. We are meeting at the Crown Plaza January 2nd to sign our new wing, Brittany Griner. She's got worldwide appeal. It's a great story. I think she's going to be a great player for Seattle. Meet us there, if you will, Chad. January 2nd, 7:30 a.m. I'll have a printout of your contract. Can't wait to see you at the Crown Plaza, Chad. Have a great New Year.
I appreciate it, buddy. Thank you very much. Thanks for thinking about me, Tim. 503-248-0620 is your telephone number. Let's go out to Drew. Drew, welcome to the fifth quarter. You're up. Fire away.
Yeah, I felt that when the team was up 7 and Lamb got called, when they called the foul of Eubanks against Lamb, and Eubanks didn't touch the guy, and I think there's a little over 3 minutes left, and then Billups doesn't challenge the call. The replay clearly shows that he didn't touch him. We could have gotten the ball back up 7, put ourselves up 9 or 10 points, and instead we're only up 5 with just over 3 left. And to me, that was when the avalanche started. And I just thought that call should have been challenged. I really like Coach Billups, but I don't think he's smart with his challenges. And I do understand waiting till the end of the game, but when you're playing the Warriors on the road late in the game, I don't, it's already over if you let the Warriors come back in the game. Do you see what I mean? Like, you have to protect your lead. And so I just don't think that to me, that moment in time was when the game just slipped away from us.
Yeah, Chauncey Billups had a bad night tonight. I appreciate the phone call, Drew. A number of situations. Didn't see any set plays run down the stretch, which I thought was a problem. They took the 5-second violation on a side out. They doubled a high screen with DiVincenzo when they probably should have switched. Weird usage of Eubanks and taking him off the floor when Kevon Looney would come back in. But the late game execution has been an issue now for the last few weeks. And I put that on coaching. But I thought the players made some grave errors tonight. Dame didn't make a great effort to get to the ball there before the 5-second violation. Turnovers by Dame down the stretch. Mistakes by Hart and Ant. And, that's your brain trust. Those guys got to perform and step up. And the Warriors, 16-2 run, they made it happen, but the Blazers contributed that with some critical errors. There's no question about it. All right, we'll keep things rolling here on the fifth quarter. You can jump on board and be a part of our YouTube live stream as well. The chat is hopping right now. 503-248-0620. Nick Thompson's got the Chauncey needs to go bye-bye chant working now. They're getting a little bit spicy in the chat tonight, Burkhart.
Yes, they are. They're hating on Chauncey and all that. I get it, man. Being a fan can be rough sometimes. Look at you. You had to deal with the Broncos all year.
I'll ask the question again. Why are any of us sports fans? Most of our seasons end in absolute frustration because only one team can be crowned champ.
Because the highs are absolutely amazing and worth it.
In my lifetime, I've had exactly 4 seasons end in perfection.
Yeah.
Every other season of every other team I've loved has gotten crushed. And yet I still jump in for more.
Because the highs are awesome.
It's very similar to people that continue to pursue love after they've had their heart broken time and time again because the
highs are worth it, baby.
All right, 503-248-0620. Warriors over the Blazers tonight, 118-112 as they close the game on a 16-2 run. Jordan Poole with 41 points. You've got the fifth quarter on 620 Rip City Radio. All right, 503-248-0620. Chad Doing, Chris Burkhart with you on the fifth quarter. Our final fifth quarter of the 2022 as we move into a new year. Next Blazer game will come up on Monday. The Pistons are going to be in town. Tip off at 7. Game day will start at 4:30. Let's go out to the phones. I want to hear your voice. We're going to have our poster play of the game here in a moment. We're also going to hear Chauncey Billups' pregame comments on Gary Payton II as we try to, continue to comb through that situation. Very bizarre. Very, very bizarre. What are we now, 35 games in? The Blazers announced he was going to be ready for the start of the season, and yet we're almost halfway through. He hasn't even played, and he's been medically cleared. Strange. Then you had the video situation. You had the comments from Dame and Chauncey. Then the agent got involved. Dwight got some details. I'll share some of those with you here in a moment. Let's go out to the phones. Charlie, who is out in the cube. Charlie, welcome to the fifth quarter. Fire away, buddy.
Chad, that was painful, but I think I figured out some keys doing some research. First of all, the only game that I'll 100% take responsibility for losing was a game when I didn't draw up a decent get the frickin' ball inbounds from the side out, and I'll take the heat. Chauncey needs to take the heat for that one. That's coaching. That's something you do all the time instead of just standing there asking for the ball, lack of movement.
No question.
But more importantly, go ahead.
Yeah, you're right. Absolutely. The
Oh,
5-second
no
violation
question.
is
Okay.
on Chauncey.
It's a quick question.
Yeah, no, Chauncey,
Okay,
the 5-second violation's on him.
Okay, but the research that I've come up with, Chad, you and I are both going to have to make major sacrifices here. First of all, you've alluded to it several times, but I don't think you put the pieces together, the puzzle completely together. You said, every team I root for loses. Well, I think it's obvious what you need to do then. No longer root for Portland. Okay, pick a different favorite team. That's half of the battle. Then the other half of the battle's on me. Every time I bet on the Blazers to win, they lose. Every time. I've only bet on them 4 times this year. 2 times to win, they lost. 2 times to lose, they won. So I'm going to make the sacrifice and bet them to lose every flipping time now. I thought I had it for sure. Curry gone, Mitchell Wiggins gone. This is easy. Oh, come on, man. So anyway, we'll both make those sacrifices and hope things work out. What do you think?
That's a good idea. Opposition theory when you're wagering is not a bad deal. I've got a friend that will do that every time his team plays. He's an Iowa Hawkeye fan. He goes opposition theory. So if his team wins, he's happy. But if they lose, he makes a little profit.
I love it. All right. Thanks for sharing, man.
You got
Hang
it,
in
buddy.
there.
Appreciate it. Yeah. Charlie's a coach. He knows. He saw the mistakes down the stretch by Chauncey. It was pretty obvious. Let's go out to the preacher. Preacher, what's up, man? Happy New Year to you and your wife, buddy.
Yo, Happy New Year to you and your team and family, man. Without a doubt, without you in this 2022 run, I would be, I don't even know. I enjoy my evenings and listening to the Blazers through you and your whole team out there. So I appreciate that, man.
Well, I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. Happy to be here, and I'm glad that the show brings people like you and I together. It's awesome.
So, yeah, we got to get to 1,000 YouTube subscribers tonight.
That's what I'm talking about, but he can't hear you when your mic's off.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, okay. Hey, Justin, Fancy Coffee Justin,
Yes.
I've been trying that whole, Friday thing out, and I've realized that every time I have those fancy coffees, I get diarrhea. Do you ever get that situation?
Yes, I get that situation in my life from time to time, but it's not because of Fancy Coffee Friday, because my coffee's always the same, black.
Yeah, but I call that Civil War coffee, because when it's cream and sugar, there's I think there's good economy going, so that's why I call it Civil War coffee. It's, hard times, you're drinking black, really?
No, dude, I love, I believe coffee was meant to be drank one way and one way only, and that is black with no cream, no sugar. You don't need none of that nonsense. It's a beautiful beverage by itself. It doesn't need any additives.
All right. Well, my mom sells it the same way. Listen to this. Hey, with your wing problems over there at iHeart, I honestly disagree with you. It's a point guard problem. It's the same thing. You guys are talking the deja vu of CJ McCollum leaving. and Ant filling in the role. It's a hard situation. He's a little bit undersized, and he's your main focal defense, and he's getting broken down right away. He's got moves. I would say he's Atlanta Trae Young style. He's ball dominant. But at the end of the day, I don't think he complements Lillard. So I agree with every caller that has called in. And, you know, I love Top Gun. I think I would rank that as the number one movie. But it's not a wing problem, you know? It's really a guard problem in this situation. And if I can just close it up, yeah. I mean, I've listened to the show with 620 and Adam Drexler. I think it's stellar that 620 brings it on with you and The Godfather and Chad Doing. I honestly thought about that. And we all grew up with Clyde Drexler, and he was like my father figure. I went to his camps. And when Clyde wasn't there for Lillard, I get it. I do understand. But sometimes we all kind of like think there's like this guy that should have showed up or should have done a little bit more. We don't need like a video. And I at that point, I'll just end it there. But love the show. Everything's good. I love Clyde. Love you. Love Lillard. Love the Blazers.
You got it, man. Appreciate it, Preacher. Have a good night, my friend. And, you know, Clyde was there for Dame. He called him. Didn't make the video, but as I pointed out, how you choose to congratulate someone is up to you. That's up to you. Let's go out to Hendrick, a.k.a. Rude Dog. What's up, Hendrick? Welcome to the show.
Oh, yes. You can see me in Rude Dog form on the YouTubes. But here I just wanted to say Gary Payton II, you know, I didn't bite my tongue all year long with him celebrating on the bench and acting like one of the boys. And it's like, bro, you haven't done anything yet. You haven't done anything yet.
He hasn't played a single
I've been waiting. I've been waiting for this guy to do something, and then he's finally ready to do something, and he backs out.
Yeah, it's bizarre. In fact, I'm glad you brought that up. Appreciate the phone call, Hendrick. Let's take a listen to Billups. Here he is before the game tonight, talking about the status of Gary Payton II, who, by the way, received his championship ring from the Warriors tonight.
Yeah, I mean, my conversations with Gary obviously are between him and I. He's working his behind off to get back. I think he's close, very close. Medically, you know, we've and he's done everything that he could do. You know, I always tell people a lot of times, like, nobody really understands, like, when you have an injury or you have surgery, there's not just a physical component that you have to get over. There's a mental component as well. You don't want to get hurt again. You don't want to re-injure yourself. And I think that that's kind of where it is with Lil G, is like he's just trying to get over that. He's played hurt for so long in his career that, you know, he wants to be healthy so he can be himself out there. So that's kind of where it's at.
All right, Rude Dog, appreciate you bringing that up. The comments were bizarre. So here's what we know. And I'll kind of walk through this timeline again. So we know that Gary Payton II has been medically cleared to play basketball. If you go back after the deal was made, the team reported before the season began he would be back for the start of the regular season. Obviously, that hasn't happened as we are now 35 games in, nearly halfway through the season. And we keep getting these reports that he'll be reevaluated in 2 weeks. And then we got the report from Shams that he would make his debut in the next 1 to 2 weeks. That hasn't happened. A couple of weeks ago, we had Dame and Chauncey both come out and specifically mention Gary Payton II, that he has been a full participant in 5-on-5, that he went for over 40 minutes and looked good. I was told that Dame was trying to turn up the heat on Gary Payton II to get him out there on the floor and start playing basketball. At the end of that week, we saw Billups change his tune and say that, you know, he did 3-on-3 but not 5-on-5. And then we got the report of from, you know, Chris Haynes last week that he was mentally trying to overcome the injury, and now you get the report today. So this is all very strange. Dwight reached out and got some information today that, according to who he spoke with, is that he is driving the team crazy right now.
I can imagine. Now, I just want to point out, sometimes you got to give a little credit where credit is due and see how this works. Han in King City points out here on the YouTube chat, he says that GP never intended to play before the new year. That I have a tip on, whether the team knows it or not. Now, you might pause, right? But Han was also the one back in November that in the chat said he won't be back till January, and you and I went, what? Have you heard that? And then we went and talked about it. So he was right about him not being on the court in November or December. So take that one for what you will.
All right, so Han thinks he's going to make his debut sometime in January?
In the new year, yeah.
In the new year.
But the thing is, he said he stuck to that. He said that, and I remember it vividly. I can go back and screenshot the receipts. He said that early in our YouTube days.
Yeah, strange situation. And they could use him.
Did you see, though, it's one of those things like, there's some ironing in there. Yes, ironing. It's a Simpson reference, guys. Sorry. But you notice how when Josh Hart went down, kind of took that shot to the gut, the first person out there was GP. Like, hey, how's your core, man? So, you okay? You okay? I know a lot about core injuries. Let me help you.
Dude, like, teammates see the practice. They see physically that you look good and you're not out there on the floor. They start to question you. What's going on?
Yeah, especially, is there, I mean, we've been around a lot of NBA players, and I know, fans know, a lot of NBA players play hurt.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've been around one who plays at less than 100% more than Damian Lillard. So when he's facing your franchise and you got a guy who's been physically cleared to play, I can see where that would get frustrating.
He was supposed to be the dog for Chauncey Billups on defense, too. I know it's tough. It's tough. It's tough because if your teammates lose respect for you, that's a problem. Always dicey when you start to question a player in his body, though. It's hard to do.
Yeah. Well, if they question him now, you can just show him that pinky finger that he has that big old fat diamond on.
Yeah. He's got the ring. He's got something that they all want, right?
He does.
Let's go out to the Outlaw. Outlaw, welcome to the fifth quarter, my friend. You're up. Fire away. Sorry, Outlaw, your phone is off there, my friend. Bad connection. Let's go to Kiernan. Kiernan, welcome to the fifth quarter, buddy.
Hey, how's it going? I just wanted to call and wish you guys Happy New Year.
Oh, Happy New Year, my friend. Sorry the Blazers took the loss tonight, but hey, we got many more games coming up.
Yep, I'm sorry that they took the loss to you tonight. I was bummed out tonight.
So what do you got planned tomorrow to celebrate the New Year?
Stay up and watch the ball drop.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
That's good. I like that, man. That's a good idea. What else are you going to do? You going to hang out, watch some sports? Or?
Yep, just hang out and watch some sports, yeah.
Well, that's good, Kieran. I appreciate that, man. That was a tough loss tonight, man. The Warriors on that 16-2 run.
Yeah, it was a tough loss. And by the way, I definitely think the Blazers should keep Anthony Simons.
Yeah, and you're not the only one. There's a lot of people that feel the same way, Kieran, and that they don't want to see him go. But at some point, you got to make a decision which direction you're going to go. It's not easy to do, but that's what they're going to be faced with. 503-248-0620 is your telephone number. 503-248-0620 is your telephone number. The game high tonight came from Jordan Poole, who finished with 41 points. He was 5 of 10 from downtown. Klay Thompson with 31. He was 7 of 15 from 3. Those two guys were the meal ticket for the Warriors. Dame with 34 tonight, just 4 of 15 from downtown. 22 for Ant, just 4 of 11 from 3. Jeremy Grant, 19, just 1 of 7 from downtown. The Blazers only 12 of 39 from 3 tonight. The Blazers did do a really good job in one area. Second chance points tonight had a 19-7 advantage. And the offensive rebounds for the Blazers tonight, a season high 17. So I love their work on the offensive glass. They were able to generate some second chance point opportunities. They were able to capitalize on those, and that was good to see. They did turn it over 16 times, which led to 20 points for the Warriors. And Golden State, a very nice 17 of 43, nearly 40% from downtown. And the key stretch came at the end of the fourth quarter, 16-2 run for the Warriors, which gave them the 118-112 victory. All right, let's get to our poster play of the night.
The fifth quarter poster play of the night is brought to you by Collection Connection, the leaders in framing sports memorabilia, team awards, and so much more. Collection Connection offers you a one-stop, full-service framing experience. Find them online at COLLCONN.com.
Dame from the logo, no good. Sharp with the putback slam, cocked it back, came out of nowhere to hammer it down.
Come on, Damian Lillard takes it from the logo, he misses, and Shaden Sharp throws it down with the hammer.
All right, there you go. That is your poster play of the night. We'll keep things rolling here on fifth quarter. You can jump on board 503-248-0620 if you want to join us on YouTube. Go to youtube.com, pull up the homepage, Rip City Radio, and click on the live link. And don't forget to subscribe. The Blazers will get a couple of days off, back home Monday to face the Detroit Pistons. Tip-off from Moda at 7. 503-248-0620. It's the fifth quarter on your home of the Blazers, 620, Rip City Radio. All right, rough game tonight at Chase Center in San Francisco as the Warriors take out the Trailblazers, 118-112. They close the game on a 16-2 run. Jordan Poole, a game-high 41 points, and the result is a gut punch as the Blazers take the loss. They're now 18-17 on the year. 35 games in, not a single minute from Gary Payton II. The Blazers back home on Monday to meet the Detroit Pistons, and the Blazers laboring right now with starters playing large minutes due to the injuries. Only 8 Blazers got action tonight. Watford, Sharp, and Jabari Walker off the bench. Hart played 41. Jeremy Grant played 40, and Lillard 42. That's not ideal. Not ideal. The Warriors tonight, 39.5%, 17 of 43 from downtown. They were plus 15 from behind the three-point line. They closed the game on a 16-2 run, and that is that. They outscored the Blazers 30-16 in the fourth. The Blazers putting up just 16 points in the fourth after a 40-point outburst in the third. A slow start to the game for the Blazers, a poor finish, and really a similar pattern that we've seen over the last few weeks with, some of these late game situations and close games for the Blazers. So Chauncey needs to do a better job, and, the guys need to make better decisions. And, we're seeing issues now with shot making down the stretch too. I think Portland just 7 of 20 from the floor in that fourth quarter. That's not going to get the job done against Golden State with or without Steph Curry. Let's go out to Alan in Portland. Alan, appreciate the phone call. You're up on the fifth quarter. Fire away, my friend.
Hi, Chad. Happy New Year to begin with.
Thank you. Happy New Year.
Yeah. It's funny. A commercial for Goldberg and Jones just came on, and I went there and I got everything I wanted. So that was funny that it came on.
That's excellent.
Anyway, what I want to say about the Blazers is that, we're an average team. We're mediocre. You've got enough talent to probably go into the playoffs, maybe win the first round. Okay, that's a given. The thing is, what I've always noticed is the talent doesn't want to come here. We're Portland. We're a hick town. We're all the way in the Northwest. The plane flights that they have to take to go places, the type of media or the contracts or the endorsements that you could get here maybe not be as bright. You're not going to be in the spotlight as well when you're in L.A. or some other city that certainly is more popular than Portland. So that's our problem. People don't want to come here. I mean, we've had a couple times when people did come here. We had when Scottie Pippen came here. We got a chance at a championship that time, and so it all depends on whether or not somebody wants to come here. Now, I can see that with Jeremy Grant coming here, there's a possibility that with Ant developing, we should keep Ant, by the way. You got Ant, you got Damon, and you got the Grant, and you got a fairly good nucleus. You got a good a center that's adequate. So if you had one more good player, now the thing is, you got to get him in free agency. He's got to come here
or trade.
Yeah, but the thing is, you got to be lucky. That's one thing about NBA. We got lucky winning our first championship because we got all the ABA players. I mean, that's the only way we got enough players to come here because we were lucky enough to get them in the draft, or we got them from the ABA. But that's the problem with Portland. I mean, I like Portland. Portland's entertaining. I mean, the thing is, Portland fans are kind of fickle. Here we lose a game. And everybody's calling in, oh, man, the world's coming to an end. The Portland Trail Blazers just, I mean, you got to accept things go up and down. I get all excited because we lose one game or a few games. I mean, we're 500, just like most of the other teams are close to 500. I mean, if we had won those 2 Oklahoma games and we won tonight, what the difference of the tone of the callers would be. It's just a matter of 3 games. So, I mean, we could win the next 3 or 4 games going on a run. We'd have a homestand, and what would the people say? And we'd say we won these games, we got a couple blowouts and won by 15, 20 points. Then everybody's mood would change.
No, I
mean,
understand.
it's just
but
a fickle
Alan,
thing.
the reason why people are upset with the game tonight and the Oklahoma City games in particular is because it was late game execution and a couple of errors that cost them the game. That's where people get frustrated.
Oh, I know. I was listening to it.
Yeah.
The thing is, we did that to somebody else earlier in the year. It was some game. I forget. We came back and we beat them. Oh, yeah. It was the same. It's the same situation. What comes around goes around. I mean, yeah, that's this kind of game when you lose, when you're 11 points up, 5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter is a disappointing loss. It happens. It's not going to happen a lot, but it did happen tonight. Golden State is the type of team that has enough talent to be able to do something like that, and they're used to that kind of thing because they've played championship ball. They know how to do it. They're experienced. They're not a mediocre team, right? That it can happen. I'm not all upset about it. I mean, it's a bad loss, of course. And you're right. The coach made some bad decisions tonight. But the thing is, if you're cold at the end of the game, and the chain, and look how we were 18 points down. We came back to lead by 11, and then just because we didn't win the game, there's good things we saw in that game. How the team responded after being 18 points down. How about looking at that? That was really resilient. I thought that was great. And to come back playing in the Warriors arena. And to get an 11-point lead in the fourth quarter, I'm okay. So we didn't score in the last few minutes. That's too bad. Sometimes you go into cold streaks, but I understand it was a tough loss. Yeah, but all I wanted to say really was the Blazers are a mediocre team. We need a little bit more talent to get over that edge. And you're right. You have to make the decisions about what you're going to do to get it. But my feeling is you need to get lucky and have some talent come here because they feel that the talent's just enough for them to be able to say, I have a chance of winning an NBA championship. And that could happen because, once we got Jeremy Grant and they know Damian's committed here because we have extended his contract and we've got some other pieces, I think we're just maybe one superstar away. And it could be a bright future for us. All right. Well, thanks for the call, Chad. Happy New Year.
I appreciate that. Thank you. I couldn't get a edge in word-wise because Alan was running it, man. Alan, whatever you're doing right now in your life, you need to quit and become a talk show host because you were running it relentlessly right there. Now, for some reason, it always makes you laugh. Is Portland still a hick town? You referred to Portland as a hick town. That always makes you laugh.
No.
Now, outside of the Portland area, we do have some hick towns in the valley and in different parts of the state. But
yeah, every state does.
Look, people got to understand there are more ways to acquire talent than just free agency. You trade for players. They don't have a choice in the matter.
I also think this idea of a small market team can't go get free agents, blah, 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 is completely overblown. Your management has to go to work to get only big markets get the free agents.
How did they get Jeremy Grant? They traded for him. Trade. You make trades. Yeah, besides, the Blazers are over the cap anyways. You can't go out and get free agents because you don't have the dollars to do so. You got to make deals.
Yeah.
Trades. Yeah. Or draft. Trades or draft. That's the key for Portland right now.
Or be smart, Warriors, get your sign-in trades in. I mean, this and that.
Was Allen happy? So he wasn't frustrated with the loss because the Blazers actually took a double-digit lead in the second half?
Hey, man, you can be happy with, the moral victories. At the end of the day, the only thing to be happy or upset about is the W or the L. And does it change the narrative and how you feel about the game? Of course it does, but it should because the only thing that matters at the end is the wins. You don't win a championship because you took the lead in the second half. You win a championship because you win 4 out of 7 games in the NBA Finals. Wins matter.
All right, but fans are bitter about tonight because of the way they lost the game.
They should be.
Poor execution, poor decision-making by the coach, and you blow a big lead late, and you allow a team to go on a 16-2 run. I mean, there's no way to spin that one.
Yeah, it's like they look like the Ducks in the Civil War, bro. Shouldn't have lost that game.
And once again, they got off to a horrible start tonight. We've seen a developing trend of slow starts poor finishes. In the last 3 weeks, if you look at what they've done in close games, it's not been stellar.
Yeah, and after a 40-point third quarter, follow that up with 16 in the fourth.
Yeah, that's not good. 503-248-0620 is your telephone number. We'll go back to the phones in just a moment. I need a breather. Let's get to our drive of the night.
Oh, you just throw it on me, and I'm not even ready. Oh, Chad.
I know. So disrespectful.
It's time for the Portland Trailblazers Drive of the Night here on the fifth quarter, hosted by Chad Dewing, 620 Rip City Radio. Drive of the Night is brought to you by Dick's Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram of Wilsonville, ready to compete with the lowest prices in town.
Eubanks defended by Draymond Green, dribbles right and gives it to Ant. He's on the wing, crosses over, and Green picks him up on the switch. Now he takes off and drives, runs it up. The right-hand hook is good.
503-248-0620 is your telephone number. Let's go out to Tall Tim. Happy New Year, Tim. What's up, buddy?
I better get the call in before we have to turn the digit one more time.
That's right. That's right.
2022. And one more day. Hey, I just wanted to let you know, before I make any points on this game, and I think other people have probably made the key points anyway, I finished my song, Careless Pass, and it's up on my YouTube page, so if you go Tall Tim Careless Pass, you'll find my song. So it's kind of like Tall Tim meets the Jordanaires style. It kind of applies to this game tonight. There was a little loose ball handling at the end there, or throughout the game sprinkled. And I'd like to see Ant take on more of a role like Jordan Poole. You know, he got a few points going, and then when you start hesitating, man, you know, the ball doesn't quite get where it needs to go. And I'd really like to see him take that next step and be a little bit more determined to just go for it. Because they kind of needed that, but they're still trying to work out, you know, who gets the ball at the end of the game, and neither one of them obviously came through tonight, which is kind of disappointing. But we've gone over that. We don't need to belabor it, shall we say.
No, I got it. Hey, Tim, what did you say the name of your YouTube page was again?
It's Tall Tim, 2 words, and then Careless Pass is 2 words, and you got to put the whole thing in because I'm not the tallest Tall Tim on YouTube.
All right. So Careless Pass by Tall Tim. Let's check this out.
Yeah.
The timing was off, and it was a weak toss. Looks like another weary loss. Careless pass, oh careless pass. Careless pass, oh careless pass.
Tall Tim, very nice work, my friend. Very impressive.
Well, I guess it kind of applied for tonight, right?
Hey, that was good.
Another weary loss.
How much time did it take for you to put that together?
I've been doing a song a week for quite a while, but this one I had to go back and tweak, shall we say, but a couple of weeks.
Is that just you, or were there other individuals
That's me.
involved?
That's all me.
Nice work, Tall Tim. Very impressive.
Yeah, it came out nice. I like that one.
I didn't realize that you were a man of such many talents.
Well, I don't know how about many I have, but I've been doing music for a long time, so that one I kind of keep in my front pocket, shall we say?
That's great. Burkhart's a man of music himself. Do you appreciate that one, Burkhart?
That was wonderful.
Thank you very much.
Nice work, buddy.
Yeah, thanks for playing it, and you know what? We'll just pop that out when we have games like this, and it'll kind of. Because it's kind of a spirited tune, right?
Well, yeah. The best part about the song is that I enjoyed it, and now I'm not as pissed off about the loss as I was maybe 5 minutes ago. It worked.
There we go. That's the purpose of music, right?
It does. It can take you away. It can
yes.
relieve stress, and it's awesome. I love it, man.
Well, yeah. All right. Well, let's get darn it, these guys, let's get going here, because we don't have a draft pick, do we, this year?
Yeah.
I think we don't have one, right?
No, if they make the playoffs, they will not have a draft pick. If they miss the playoffs, they'll have a first-round pick.
All right. Well, then there's some motivation to go that way, too, right? Some good fellers this year.
Yeah, they got decisions to make, man. You're the best, Tall Tim. Happy New Year, my friend. 503-248-0620. We got some crafty listeners out there, Burkhart.
Yeah, man, talented. I put a link there in the YouTube chat because
nice work.
Well, no, don't give me credit yet, because I turn your PC off of channel B so it doesn't go to YouTube.
Yeah.
Because I don't want, the copyrighted music to get us kicked. People are complaining about my elevator music. It's wonderful and copyright-free music.
Oh, so the people on YouTube
so
they
missed Careless Pass until someone said something. So they got the tail end of it. But I put a link in the chat there. So you guys can go listen to it. It was a good little song.
All right. 503-248-0620. Do you play a full set of drums?
I've never played a drum in my life.
You haven't?
No. See, everyone does this. I say I was a drum major. And they're like, oh, yeah, I was a really good drummer, rock out. No, another word for that is conductor. Okay? I was the conductor. I stood up on the ladder.
Well, then call yourself a conductor for crying out loud.
No, it's not called a conductor. You're the drum major. You are the drum major. I played saxophone by trade.
Oh, I like the saxophone.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've got to know why do they call if it's a conductor? Why are you calling it a drum major? Because that sounds dumb. That's just dumb to me. Well, just call it a conductor.
Because drum major sounds way cooler.
I think conductor's cool because I think of someone who's in charge, either of an orchestra or a train. That's not bad.
Yeah, I'm leading a band, not a train.
Being a conductor I still want to drive. There's a few things I'd like to operate before I die. It's been childhood dreams of mine. A backhoe. My dad never let me use the backhoe. I'm still bitter about that. And I would like to drive a train.
Okay. Let's work on your dreams one at a time. Get you in the meat freezer punching the side of beef.
I want to be like Rocky.
First.
Yes. And you are the man.
We're gonna get it done.
You and your dad can make this happen, and I can live out a dream. And I would love to punch a side of beef. But I'm going to be careful. I don't want to break my hand, right? Because you told me it's...
There can be some hard spots.
It's messy, too, right? That's messy. It's a messy proposition to pound meat.
Only if you're punching with the force of Sylvester Stallone.
Can you still play a mean saxophone?
That's you working under the assumption that I ever played a mean saxophone.
All right, let's go to Turkey. Victor in Turkey. Victor, I would imagine you're frustrated with the coaching tonight. Am I right?
Yes, you're right.
I thought so. It's good to talk to you, buddy.
All right. Thanks for the opportunity. There's a pre-game game within the game. I have psychology within the game. You know, when Golden State got Jordan Poole, Steve Kerr said we got the player that we can win games, you know. And I cannot imagine one player like Jordan Poole, he can win games. I mean, just one player adding to the team, he can pull up the games, and he's really unbelievable. Portland doesn't have that kind of player, you know. We have Grant, Jimmy Grant, but that's not enough, you know. As you know, that's not enough. We need one more player. And also, I want to ask you, the psychology within the players. When I was playing in Germany, you know, there were players like 2 times, like I was 5'8", and we had players like 6'5", 2 times higher than me. But the coach told me that don't worry about the strengths of the other or the size of the player. And I went to psychology, you know, challenge myself that I have to take over that. I have to challenge those big guys that are 2 times bigger than me, and I did it. So what I'm saying is, Anthony Simon, he's not producing the way he was in the beginning, you know, like last year or something like that. Something that maybe they give him too much money. He's spoiled. His psychology is not really locked in the way it was. What do you think about Anthony Simon? You think he's still good enough that he can get over the hump, or you think we have to replace him? I mean, we have to trade him?
Oh, well, I think Anthony Simons is got talent to be a great player, and he's still young, and this is only his second year with meaningful playing time, so he can be whatever he wants to be. So I'm not worried about Ant. What I do believe, and I've talked with Chris about, is that if they choose to go all in to try and win a championship with Dame, they're going to have to make a deal, and Ant might have to be the player that you make the deal with to be able to get you over the hump. Anthony Simons, I think, is going to be a great player, and I think he's showing flashes right now. But, you know, the Blazers have tough decisions to make in terms of how they're going to improve the roster to make a run with Dame. And, you know, at some point, Ant may have to be a part of some package.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah. Hey, what have you got planned for tomorrow? How are you going to take in the new year, Victor?
You know, I'm happy that there are some people in Turkey that there are some Christians. We have a mix of Christian and Muslim, and the Christian they're celebrating. And I just take it easy and have fun with the New Year. And you know, I just look forward the next, I think, 11 games or 10 games that played in Portland. So they have the longest stretch, I think, in Portland. So I hope they can win some games, you know, and make me happy.
That's terrific, man. I love it, Victor. Well, have a happy New Year. You and I will talk again soon, and hopefully the Blazers will start playing some better basketball moving forward.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
There you go. There's Victor in Turkey.
Bro, we got some breaking news thanks to Linda in our chat.
Yes, what do we got?
Looked it up to confirm. Wes Lynn upset the #1 team in the nation.
It happened?
62-50.
That is absolutely
at the Les
terrific.
Schwab Invitational, for those of you wondering what I'm talking about. This was after coming on the heels of beating Bronny and Sierra Canyon.
And that was Duncanville, Texas, right?
Duncanville, Texas, #1 team in the nation. Wes Lynn knocks them off. Oh, man.
Wow. Yeah, I was talking with Dwight about that game earlier, and he made it sound like beating Duncanville would be next to impossible. What was the final score? Do we know that?
62-50.
Nice. Boy, Wes Lynn must be super legit.
Dude, they've built a program there for years now. Locally, people here remember the Peyton Pritchard, Jaden Grant years, and that team was just unreal. And yeah, that's a run that they just put together at the Les Schwab Invitational for sure. So shout out to Linda in the YouTube chat for that update.
Appreciate it, Linda, and props to Wes Lynn for getting the victory tonight over Duncanville, Texas. Let's go out and talk to Crazy Tom. Tom, what's up, buddy?
Hey, Chad. Before I say anything, I have to apologize because you chewed my ass out with my comment about Clyde. And to be honest, I
no,
actually
I didn't chew you out.
didn't.
No, Tom, I complimented you today for your phone call earlier because
I know,
I thought it was a legit call.
But when you came back on the radio, you were talking to your host, and you both made a couple of comments, about.
Oh well, some of your facts in regards to Clyde were
I know.
not proper.
That's why I'm calling to admit that I got my ass chewed out and I deserved it because I actually didn't watch the whole entire.
The induction ceremony.
All of what I watched, I didn't hear Clyde say anything about the Blazers, and then I had to leave. So, but I misspoke. I love Clyde. I didn't mean to slander him, and you had every right to chew my ass out.
Dude, you're the best.
So
man.
I'm sorry. I'm usually not wrong, especially in sports. But I made a real big stinking faux pas there, so I apologize.
Yeah, Jack Ramsey would not approve of your slander towards Clyde, Tom.
Yeah, but he knows how much I love him, so he would at least give me that one mulligan. So, but the Blazers, they gave it the old college try for the Gipper, but they'll win another game down the road. So, but hey, look. So thank you for letting me get back on the line and apologize about that because, I feel really stupid and I almost feel guilty a tiny bit for having some bad juju tonight. So, so thank you. But anyway, I wanted to give you a couple of WWF wrestling voices and see if you can decipher who they are.
All right, fire away. What do you got, Chris? I'll need your help on this. Go for it.
Okay, the first one is easy because you already did it, and he's one of my favorites where he goes, "Oh yeah, oh yeah," and the other one is, "Woo, woo." Who's that?
Oh, that was woo. So the first one is Macho Man.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And who was the
second one was the
is that Ric Flair?
That was the limousine riding, jet flying, kiss stealing, wheeling, dealing son of a gun.
That's right, Ric Flair.
Okay. Who's this?
That's the famed intruder stopper.
Dude, that's Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Oh yeah, Hacksaw.
The intruder stopper.
The intruder stopper.
Didn't you see this?
Great
story.
I was unaware. Hey, did you hear that a couple of days ago he got robbed?
Yeah.
That's why I'm calling him the intruder stopper.
That's why he called him the intruder stopper.
Yeah.
Yes.
That went over my
I
head.
love the fact that thief,
okay.
with the home invasion just happened to enter into the house of Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Awesome.
Yeah, jeez.
Hacksaw probably tackled him because the intruder didn't thank the Portland Trailblazers.
He was on Fox show on an interview, and at the end of it, when they said, thanks for being on our show, he goes, well, you know what I got to do? And he goes, oh! So here's another one. Who does this? God.
Is that the gobbledygooker?
That's oh shoot!
Is that Coco Beware's parrot?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, Coco Beware, right on, bro. All right, so hey, I got a joke. I'm going to end with a joke, so maybe I can raise your spirits a little bit higher, for this game. But okay,
the wrestling was pretty good. What do you got?
Why did the little boy cross the playground?
Why?
To get to the other slide.
Hey,
yeah.
Chad, I forgot who's on the phone. Who is this again?
Crazy Tom.
No, who?
Go.
Crazy Tom.
It doesn't
matter what your name is. It doesn't matter how you're doing. What?
Who is that?
What?
The Rock.
No, dude, he stinks. I would rather. Okay, who?
Oh, Tom. Okay, I can't let you say that, man. Sorry, Tom. You thought your Clyde stuff was bad. He just said the Rock stinks.
Bro,
come on, Tom.
My heart hurts. That's my brother in Polynesian blood right there.
There's no Rock slander. There's no Clyde slander, and there's no Rock slander. Come on, Tom.
That's unreal. He's one of the greatest to ever do it.
That was pretty good with his wrestling impersonations, though. I like
that.
Dude, I love the fact that buffoon trying to go a little home invasion. Oh, oops, hacksaw.
Yeah.
Oops. Isn't that great? You walk in and you deservedly get your butt kicked.
Yeah, it's a story right there.
I don't even know how to recover from that. Nice work, Tom. Crazy Tom went from crazy to having another good back-to-back good phone calls for Tom. That's impressive.
You gotta end them a sentence earlier though. That Rock slander, that's awful.
To get to the other slide. All right, let's get you up to date around the association.
The fifth quarter on 620 Rip City Radio presents the Scoreboard Report, brought to you by the Stadium Sports Bar and Grill, A-Lene's ultimate venue for sports fans every Monday night, featuring beer and wing specials and more.
All right, we start in Orlando tonight, where the Wizards took out the Magic 119-100. Porzingis with 30 points, 13 rebounds, and 4 blocks. The final in Atlanta, the Lakers over the Hawks, 130-121. LeBron James on his 38th birthday, 47 points, 10 boards, and 9 assists. Freak. In Toronto, the Raptors over the Suns, 113-104. Gary Trent Jr. with 35 points and 3 steals. In Chicago, the Bulls over the Pistons, 132-118. Zach LaVine had 43 points and 6 assists. In Milwaukee, the Bucks over the Timberwolves, 123-114. Giannis, 43 points and 20 rebounds. In New Orleans, the Pelicans over the Sixers, 127-116. C.J. McCollum had 42 points to lead the way. Nuggets, 124 over the Heat, 119 in Denver. Jokic, 19 points, 12 boards, and 12 assists. The Warriors over the Trailblazers at Chase Center in San Francisco, 118-112. Jordan Poole had a game-high 41 points and dished out 6 assists. In a final in Sacramento, a good game. Kings and Jazz. Sacramento gets the win, 126-125. Sabonis, 28 points, 11 rebounds, and 8 assists. And that is your scoreboard report, brought to you by A-Lene. All right, we'll keep things rolling here on the fifth quarter. We'll come back and give you our shot of the night, 503-248-0620. Woo! You got the fifth quarter. All right, fifth quarter. The Warriors over the Trailblazers tonight, 118 to 112. Your telephone number is 503-248-0620. You can always join the YouTube chat. We're on YouTube, live streaming the fifth quarter every game. YouTube.com. Pull up the homepage, Rip City Radio, and you'll find the live link right there. And, of course, you can click to subscribe. And we'll continue to grind through the basketball season. The Blazers now 18-17. 35 games into the season, still no sign of Gary Payton II, which is a great concern. And the question is, when is he going to be on the floor? Let's take a look at the standings now in the Western Conference. The Warriors, with the win, they move up to 9th. They're now 19-18. The Blazers fall to 18-17. They are 8th. The Blazers are 5 games back of first. New Orleans is atop the Western Conference along with Denver. Both teams at 23-12. Memphis a game and a half back at 21-13. The Clippers in 4th, 3 games back at 21-16, followed by Sacramento, Dallas, and Phoenix. And the Trailblazers going to have a ton of games coming up at home. Here's what's on the horizon for the Portland Trailblazers. They're back home for a game against Detroit Monday, 7 o'clock tip from Moda Center. And then they take off for a 3-game road trip at Minnesota on Wednesday the 4th, Friday the 6th at Indiana, Sunday the 8th at Toronto, and then they're back home for games against Orlando, Cleveland, back-to-back games against Dallas before they travel to Denver to meet the Nuggets again, and then back home for another extended stretch at Moda. Philadelphia, the Lakers, Spurs, Utah, Toronto, and Atlanta. So a lot of home games coming up for Portland, a chance hopefully to right the ship a bit. And, of course, the Blazers right now at 18-17 on the year. So after the 10-4 start, they're now just 8-13 in their last 21 ball games. But we have a long way to go, not even halfway through yet, and we're just now entering into the new year. So this is when basketball games are going to start to pick up in intensity, and they're going to mean even more than they have already as teams start jockeying for the playoff position. And so few games that are separating the teams in the Western Conference from number 1 all the way down to number 10. But the Warriors, as bad as they've been to start, they're now a game over 500, Burkhart, and they're going to get Steph back. They're going to get Wiggins back, and I'm anxious to see what they can become. How much of a factor will the Warriors be once they get their guys back?
They're a team that's always going to be a factor, right? You don't want to face the Warriors in the playoffs. Look what they did last year, right? Steph on a heater, Clay kind of returning to as close to form as you can get off those 2 devastating injuries. Yeah. Jordan Poole is a freak.
I thought Clay looked pretty good tonight, too.
He looked really good. He's getting that catch-and-shoot rhythm back. Dante DiVincenzo is filling their GP role with just a more offensive punch. Literally, I looked at you and I'm like, yeah, he's GP2 with more offense. And then he turned around and hit that dagger 3.
He's not as good of a defender as GP2, but even the work he did on Dame tonight, he challenged him. He didn't back off. Frustrated him a bit, got the late turnover. He was effective. He's an irritant, no question about it.
He's pesky defensively. Plays like that Matthew Dellavedova type role, like he did in Cleveland, right? He was very good for Milwaukee. Sometimes you just get players that are just perfect for a system. GP and GP and Dante DiVincenzo, those are 2 guys that are just straight built for a Steve Kerr system.
Kenny brought up the fatigue earlier tonight on the fifth quarter when he was talking about some of the mental mistakes that were down the stretch. I'll say this, the fatigue is definitely a factor. One of the big issues right now, we've seen some of the slippage on defense. I do think that the minutes the starters have been playing, and with so many guys in the reserve role who have been in and out of the lineup with injury, I do believe it's starting to take its toll. Look at the fourth quarter tonight where the Blazers, in that fourth quarter, after putting up 40 points in the third, they mustered just 16 points in the fourth, Burkhart. 7 of 20 from the field, good for 35% shooting, and just 2 of 10 from downtown. And the guys who struggled the most were the guys who played the biggest minutes. Ant, Hart, Dame, Grant.
This is a game where I would have liked them to just bite the bullet and play Jabari big, play Shaden big. It's what I said during game day, right? Get Shaden minutes. I think in this game, the fact that he only played 19 is crazy to me. And Ant played, 35? But he probably would have hit 42 had he not had to miss a chunk of the quarter after taking that hard spill, right?
Oh, he went down hard.
So you have to know your situation, take care of those bodies. Those guys were on the court so much. He went down hard. Hart went down hard. I would have just liked to say, okay, we got limited bodies. Let's take this one. If we take the L, we take it on the chin. But there's no point in playing my guys 45 minutes, right? I do think that was a mistake, regardless of how the bench was playing.
Well, it's a good thing that Ant's got a lot of hair because it helped protect his head on the fall, right? A lot of cushion.
Yes, because apparently hair protects against concussions better than helmets.
And Draymond tonight, still impactful, 10 points, 11 rebounds, 4 assists. Even at this stage of his career, still finding different ways to impact the game.
Draymond's kind of an enigma. The talent is, there's definitely been a slide, right?
Yeah.
From his prime to what he is now. But he's so good at so many things that he still finds a way to impact these games in positive ways, man.
Yeah, Clay with 31, 7 of 15 from 3. And then Jordan Poole just sensational, 5 of 10 from 3, 41 points, 6 assists, 5 rebounds. He's good.
Speaking of three-point shooting, did you see Portland's former son, C.J. McCollum, tonight?
He hit, I think he went 10-plus from downtown, right?
Set the New Orleans Pelicans record for 11 three-pointers in the game tonight.
Money. Tonight for the Blazers, Josh Hart, 41 minutes, 12 points, 11 rebounds, and 7 assists. And he was 4 of 7 from the field. Jeremy Grant, 8 of 16, 19 points, just 1 of 7 from 3. He had 5 assists and 3 rebounds. Drew Eubanks got the start tonight at center, 31 points, 8 points, 7 rebounds, had a couple of assists, 4 of 6 from the field. Anthony Simons, 8 of 21, 4 of 11 from 3, 22 points, and 7 rebounds. Also dished out 2 assists. Dame tonight, 42 minutes, 12 of 29 from the floor, 4 of 15 from 3, 34 points, 8 boards, and 5 assists. All right, let's take a listen to our shot of the night.
It's time for the Nothing But Net Shot of the Night here on the fifth quarter, 620 Rip City Radio. The Nothing But Net Shot of the Night is brought to you by Oregon Dungeness Crab. Sustainably harvested, uniquely delicious, and always wild. Oregon Dungeness Crab always sounds good for dinner.
Dame cross-court pass to Simons, pops a three-pointer. No good. Rebound, tapped back by Eubanks, out to Dame. Now he puts up a 3 over Kuminga. It's good.
The Blazers now with 2 days off, and they'll kick off the new year at home against the Pistons on Monday. That's a good sign. Detroit not playing good basketball right now, Chris. Good opportunity for Portland to come back home and get a W.
Or good opportunity for Detroit to get a get-right game.
Oh, my
This
goodness.
is, okay, I like to joke. You know that. It's how I get through these tough nights, right? But this is kind of a joke, dude. Like, 6-game road trip, come back for 1 game, go on the road. Then you come back for a game, and then what do? Oh, another roadie. Then you get all your home games, but that's just crazy. 6-game road trip, 2 of them that they've had already. Hey, you guys have been such good little chaps. We're going to give you 1 game at home before you get back on that airplane. You deserve it.
Dude, their schedule's been whacked so far.
It has been rough.
That factors in. It absolutely factors in. There's no question
Yes.
about it.
As someone who traveled around this country to cover this team, travel sucks. Granted, I didn't get those cushy charter flights. I got commercial, but even flying charter still sucks.
Well, and you weren't even playing games to think about how you got beat down, right?
Dude, I was exhausted on those trips, dude. And I said that so many times. I'd look over at Dwight. I'm like, I am exhausted. I can only imagine playing 40 minutes a night as the top 1% in my profession against the best in the world. That's exhausting.
All right, that's going to do it for us. Big thanks to all of you on the YouTube chat tonight, joining us on the stream. And to all of you listening, enjoy your day tomorrow. Happy New Year. Burkhart and I are going to be back here on Monday for the Blazers and Pistons. We'll have game day starting at 4:30 with the tip-off against the Pistons at 7 o'clock. Chris, Happy New Year, my friend. Have fun with the fam tomorrow.
The pots and pans, they're going to get banged. The kids have been practicing. I might not be able to hear you on Monday. My eardrums might be shot.
All right, your final score tonight from Chase Center in San Francisco. The Warriors over the Trailblazers, 118-112. For Chris Burkhart, I am Chad Doing. Happy New Year, my friends. We'll talk to you on Monday. Game day at 4:30.